minister aids. So I guess we just pray like the minister say. Alu Akbar and throwing some hot cars. The things we seen on the screen, it's not ours. But these from the hood, so these dreams not far. Where I'm from, the dope boys is the rock stars. But they can't cop cars without seeing cop cars. I guess they want us all behind bars. I know it, and I heard them say, nothing's ever promised tomorrow today. And I heard them say, nothing's ever promised tomorrow today. But we'll find a way.
Nothing lasts forever, but be honest, babe. It hurts, but it may be the only way.
They say people in your life for seasons, and anything that happen is for a reason. And gun clapping and keep the squeezing, and Graham keep praying and keep believing in Jesus. And one day that you see him, till then walk in his footsteps and try to be him. The devil is alive, I feel him breathing. Claiming money is the key, so keep on dreaming. And put them lottery tickets just to tease us. My Aunt Pam can't put them cigarettes down, so now my little cousin smoking them cigarettes now. His job try to claim that he too now. Is it cause his skin blacker than licorice now? I can't figure it out. I'm sickening now. And I heard him say, nothing's ever promised tomorrow today. And I heard him say, nothing's ever promised tomorrow today. But we'll find a way.
Nothing lasts forever, but be honest, babe. It hurts, but it may be the only way. With every worthless word, we can move far away. And nothing's ever
KBLA Talk 1580. All right, we're going to unbox some of these national headlines. We're focused on the USA today. Some legal matters. And of course, among them, I'm going to have to get an opinion, a little bit of an opinion on Karmelo Anthony. The closing arguments to that case are happening right now as we speak in Texas. If you are getting ready for work, they are asking the supporters of the family and organizations, asking that you wear purple today, or no matter where you might happen to be, in support of the then 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony, who is facing 99 years in prison for defending himself against a couple of bullies. That's my assessment. We're being joined now by someone who can give you more nuanced legal view. He's an abolitionist, born and raised in the 2nd District of LA County. He is a lawyer, a graduate of Hampton University and Howard University School of Law, practicing mainly criminal and civil rights law. He's been running the offices of Person Lynn Law since 2013. Attorney Jaaye Person Lynn, welcome back.
Thank you, Dominique. Always happy to be here. Good morning.
Good morning. So a lot going on, and of course, top of mind for me this morning when I woke up and put on my purple and white Free Karmelo shirt is this case, because it seems to me this, and also the Cyrus Belton Carmack case, and the overturning of justice in the case of Elijah McClain feels like reversing justice. Those other two feel like legal lynchings to me. The Cyrus Carmack Belton, young person chased by 3 adults, a storekeeper, his wife and son, shot down, and then the storekeeper gets acquitted, gets away with murder. Now we have right now closing arguments in the murder trial for Karmelo Anthony, who was 17 at the time, was approached by their brothers, their twin brothers, the Metcalf brothers. They're 200 plus pounds in a tent full of other people. Apparently, Karmelo was seated the whole time. They were hovering over him, telling him to get out. One grabbed him. He allegedly got out his pocket knife, stabbed Austin Metcalf 1 time, and then ran for his life. And he is now facing first-degree murder charges. Do you have any thoughts on this? I mean, there's a lot of conversation. It has certainly activated the white supremacists across the country and in the press. But from a legal
Um,
perspective, there's more to it than meets the eye, right?
there definitely is because there's for this to be murder, he would have had to like enter that tent with the goal of um, in provoking those young men of coming up to him so he could create a uh, a scenario where he could try and stab them. So it's about the intent when it comes to the murder. And so for him to be charged with murder, given these circumstances, is not surprising to me because he is a young black male, but it does show the inequities in the charging because when there's a death, even unlawful, but it's kind of like a spur of the moment type thing. Yes, malice can be created in the spur of the moment, but when somebody's saying, "Hey, they attacked me, I responded this way," that the charge should have been manslaughter, based on the facts of the case as they've come out, and then that's what the jury should have been deciding on, but not whether there was malicious intent. It should just be whether he was justified in honestly and reasonably feeling the way he felt. Because if he did, then, it's self-defense. If not, it should be manslaughter at most. But that's my problem with the prosecution is the fact he's charged with murder.
Yeah, well, what I read this morning is that the jury can decide that the official charge is murder. But apparently they can find manslaughter, not guilty, or first-degree murder.
Well, yeah, see, in my first murder trial, I was very green. It was like my fifth or sixth trial. I didn't realize it was one count of murder, but we needed 3 not guilties to go home because the lesser included of first-degree murder is second-degree murder, which is murder, the malicious, unlawful killing of another human being, but without premeditation. It's first degree due to the premeditation. But you can happen spur of the moment, still be malicious, still be murder. And then after that, it's just the unlawful killing without malice, which would be voluntary manslaughter. And involuntary is more like accidental. But voluntary, you did an act that you knew would lead to death or likely lead to death, but you did it without malice for some other reason, like rage or anger, but not malice.
Or fear.
And so, yeah, or fear. So those are the differences in the levels, and each are a lesser included to the other. So second degree murder is a lesser included to first degree murder, and manslaughter is a lesser included to second degree murder. And so that's why even on one charge, you'll need multiple acquittals to go home.
So how does self-defense come into play here? I mean, it seems to me the guys are both 200 plus pounds. Karmelo is 150. He's sitting down. They're towering over him. They put hands on him. And my understanding has always been if someone hits you first or grabs you first, you can defend yourself.
Yes. And so for manslaughter to be your defense, it has to not only be, you not only have to have an honest belief that your life was in danger, it also has to be reasonable, right? So if it's unreasonable, then that can be, it can be murder. But if it's reasonable, let me strike that. If you never had an honest belief, then it can be murder. If you had an honest belief, but that belief was unreasonable, then it should be manslaughter. And so complete defense is when you have the honest belief that you need to defend yourself and it's a reasonable belief. And reasonable is, per person. Like one example I give to juries when we're talking about reasonableness is, we all have a young person in our lives that can come into our home, open up the fridge like a nephew, a son, whatever, open up the fridge, grab something, eat it, and that's reasonable for them to do so based on our relationship. But their friend comes over and they go in the fridge without asking, that's unreasonable. And so it's the same act, two different people, and reasonableness is not the same for everyone. And that's where things can get tricky in this argument, right? Because if you look at black people as superior physical beings and he could have just beat them up, then it's unreasonable for him to have used a deadly weapon. But if you look at, two 200-pound guys versus a 150-pound guy, then it's reasonable in his mind, like, yeah, he was going to kill me. And we know it's different because all the cops that we see that shoot people who are unarmed but are never charged with crimes, because it's, been deemed by the powers that be that it was reasonable for them to act in that space. And when it's a reasonable act, it can't be a crime because it's what the average reasonable person would have done.
And so this is where it gets tricky because and I get the family doesn't want this to be about race, but the reality is if Karmelo had been white and the 200-pound football players had been black, it seems to me it would automatically be deemed reasonable by the press, the mainstream press, and the people that are having these arguments online.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I think that would certainly have been the case, and that is what the risk of living in America as a black person is, that when the time for violence comes, you're going to have to truly prove that you were in fear, because you are fear. Black men, that is the epitome of fear when it comes to human beings. It can be a white 6'5" buff, swastikas all over his bald head, and then a 6-foot black guy in a quarter zip sweater. And many people will likely see that 6-foot black guy, regular build, in the quarter zip as a greater threat than the 6'5" muscle-bound white man with swastikas all over his face and head.
Yeah.
And that's just the reality of being, a black man in America in particular.
And there's really no defense for that, right? And we're talking Texas here. This is small town Texas, yeah. Collins County. And so let's not pretend that that's not a factor.
No, it's certainly a factor. And the fact of the matter is, you ask any defense attorney that is going to tell you the truth, the best fact you can have in a self-defense case is that the person you were defending yourself against was a black man. And that's just true across the board, which is why I've always, understood the Zimmerman verdict. Not that I agreed with it, not that I liked it or thought it was right, but I understood it based on where it was and who it was. Yeah,
but we're talking about a 17-year-old boy, a child. We're talking about a kid with no priors, no criminal record whatsoever, a young man who had a job, a multi-sports athlete, captain of the football team, 3.8 GPA, a child who once saved another child's life from drowning by pulling him out the water. It's like you got to be perfect to even have a shot at justice, and this kid was as close to perfect as you can get, and they're ready to hang him from a tree.
Look at that, man. Look, he is smart. He knew what he was doing when he went in there with that knife, because he is smart and he knows he's a captain of the football team. He has the physical ability to reasonably defend himself without weapons. So everything you just said about him can be flipped to why he's guilty. that was my point in saying that.
Attorney
And will be flipped.
Attorney Jaaye Person Lynn is with us this morning, and we're going to unbox several national issues. I want to talk about how the courts appear to be pushing back a little bit. It's not just Knicks fans against the Trump agenda. We'll have that conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to gear with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader.
KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader.
If you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcasts of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Follow the leader. Oh my God. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
Let's celebrate.
Y'all did it!
Loving each other, needing each other.
Hey, Los Angeles. KBLA Talk 1580 is turning 5, and we're celebrating in a big way.
Oh my God.
Join us Friday, June 19th, Juneteenth, 4 to 7 p.m. at the Beehive for our 5th anniversary bash and Juneteenth celebration. We're talking surprise celebrity guests, a special presentation, and a major announcement you will not want to miss.
I can't wait to hear it.
Plus, live music, dancing, games, and enough food and drink to keep the party going.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Of course, you're welcome to bring your own picnic basket, blanket, and lawn chair. And the best part, it's completely free. But here's the thing. You've got to sign up in advance. Space is limited, so don't wait. Head to KBLA1580.com right now and lock in your spot. Friday, June 19th, the Beehive, KBLA Talk 1580. 5 years strong, and we're just getting started.
Happy anniversary, KBLA!
Yeah,
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. A-rated by the Better Business Bureau, their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $3 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-919-9077. 800-919-9077. 800-919-9077.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Still hiding your legs because of spider or varicose veins? West Medical offers minimally invasive vein treatments that require little downtime. Most PPO insurance plans cover treatment and they verify your benefits free. Call 1-800-WEST-MED today for your free consultation.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Attorney Jaaye Person Lynn is my guest. Jaaye, if I need an attorney and I'm considering you, how do I find you?
You can find me social media, Lincoln Lawyer LA on Instagram. My name Jaaye Person Lynn, Jaaye, common spelling of person hyphen Lynn, Lynn on Facebook. And, usually in and around our community, just being a family man and community member. And one of the hardest things for me to do is see a black person pulled over by police and not stop. And so my kids have actually experienced that a couple times. But, yeah, you can catch me around South L.A. Although today I come to you from Flo County, San Luis Obispo County, as I'm up here for a trial.
Oh, you out in the country. Yes. You way out in country Cali. Yes, indeed. Well, thank you for tapping in with us in the middle of your trial. What kind of cases do you like to take? I know you do a lot of civil rights, but you also do some criminal law as well.
Yeah, actually mainly criminal. I'm getting into approaching about 40, maybe more trials now. Of those, about 6 have been murder, about 4 have been attempted murder, and then I've had a few guns, a few DUIs, assaults, pimping and pandering, human trafficking. Pretty much the gambit on criminal defense. If it's people versus, then, I can take on the case. Some of the more difficult cases for me are burglary cases, because they usually come with fingerprints, DNA, and we're just begging. But, it's good to be able to get to these trials. The last few trials I've had, we've gotten acquittal on special circumstance murder, and that means if my client was convicted, the only sentence the judge could have given him was life without the possibility of parole. So I've actually done 2 of those now and got acquittals on both. And then I just did, shortly after that, that finished April 2nd, and April 28th, we started, or somewhere around there, we started an attempted murder trial that we got acquittals on 1 attempted murder charge and 8 assault with a deadly weapon charges. But it's that one, you got to make these prosecutors prove their case and these detectives. And that's the thing about black people. Sometimes they think, we just say they did it and they'll do it and they'll get found guilty. And sometimes that is the case. But sometimes, you skip a step. And that step that you skipped, even if it is my client that did it, you skipping that step was enough to create reasonable doubt. And that's what we look for. That's what we do. But overall, I'm not just here to help people get off. I'm here to help people see better ways to live their lives. And my counsel is not just to get you off, but it's also hey, man, maybe even if we get you off, if you stay down this path, you'll be right back here. You might not be so lucky next time. But then you just have people who are just, wrongfully charged. And those are the easy cases. And that's why I think so many public defenders have burnout, because they went to be a public defender to represent the wrongfully accused. Then you get to work and realize, damn, most of these people, the vast majority are rightfully accused. Mm-hmm. And it takes the right person to really, stand up for people who you otherwise despise. You would never support their actions or what they did, but they still have a right to adequate representation, because if we start cutting the rights for the least of us, then certainly black people, in particular black men, are next. Whatever rights they cut for one, the next 100 in line are going to be black people. So that's why we have to protect everybody's rights.
Yeah, well said. We only have less than a minute here till news, traffic, and sports. So I want to tee up some of the things we will look at. It seems like the courts are starting to do a little bit of accountability, I guess you could call it. A court has blocked Trump's $100,000 visa fee. I think it was yesterday or the day before. They have, through a process of steps, sort of shut down the anti-weaponization fund, which was for reparations for white grievance. And there is a case heading toward the Supreme Court, Trump's defamation case against CNN. So we'll see what happens with that. The Trump administration's agenda, some of it being tested and tried in the courts. Want to get Attorney Jaaye Person Lynn's thoughts on that when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominic DePrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Apple CEO Tim Cook delivered what's expected to be his final keynote address.
Sharing powerful new tools with all of you and then seeing what you create with them has been a constant reminder that imagination has no limits.
He also revealed a rebranded Siri AI with more conversational features, updates to macOS Golden Gate, and new child safety tools. Chicago leaders are launching a No Crime Weekend initiative to curb violence. Pastors and community members are planning events and outreach for teens set for July 31st through August 2nd after a weekend that saw at least 20 people shot. And a black woman is expected to plead guilty in a voter fraud case in Los Angeles. Prosecutors say Brenda Lee Brown Armstrong paid homeless individuals a few dollars to register to vote. She's set to appear in court and could face up to 5 years in prison. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Still hiding your legs because of spider or varicose veins? West Medical offers minimally invasive vein treatments that require little downtime. Most PPO insurance plans cover treatment and they verify your benefits free. Call 1-800-WEST-MED today for your free consultation.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Major props to the San Antonio Spurs for rising up against all the noise in New York City about the Knicks. The Spurs tuned out the electric atmosphere Monday night in Madison Square Garden and pulled off a stunning 115-111 win over the Knicks in Game 3 of the NBA Finals. First loss for the Knicks in this year's playoffs since April 23rd. The Knicks had won 13 straight playoff games. With a 2-0 lead in the best of 7 and with Game 3 at home, Knicks fans were expecting a 14th straight playoff win. Spurs star Victor Wembanyama dismissed the hype and delivered a 5-star performance in the first NBA Finals game in New York since 1999. The 22-year-old Wembanyama hurt the Knicks with 32 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists. Wembanyama helped the Spurs avoid going down 0-3 to the Knicks. There will be a Game 5 in San Antonio on Saturday. Game 4 is Wednesday night in New York. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
When the story gets twisted, who's going to tell the truth? When they cut the microphones, who's still talking? When history gets rewritten, who remembers what really happened? We do. KBLA Talk 1580. Black media isn't just important right now, it's essential. Because when mainstream outlets move on, we stay. When the headlines ignore our communities, we don't. When decisions are being made that affect black lives in our schools, our neighborhoods, our economy, KBLA is in the room. This is more than radio. This is a lifeline, a record, a rallying cry. Black stories, black voices, black power.
The heat is on.
On the air and in the culture. KBLA Talk 1580. Stay connected. Stay informed. Stay loud.
Stand up!
If you're an African-American mom who is pregnant or have a baby under 6 months old, you deserve care that lifts, listens, and lasts. Black Infant Health is for you. It's a free program with individual support, group sessions, and resources to start your mothering journey. BIH makes space for moms and their families to create community. Learn more about the programs in Los Angeles County. Check us out at blackinfanthealth.org.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. It's high time that we say the quiet part out loud about what we consider a disgrace, an absolute disgrace to the people of South Los Angeles. Destination Crenshaw, or as I call it, Procrastination Crenshaw, was supposed to be a 1.3-mile celebration of Black Los Angeles. Pocket parks, commissioned art, a cultural corridor along Crenshaw Boulevard, stretching from our studios in Leimert Park down to Nipsey Hussle Square. It was set to complete in 2022. That's right, 2022. We are now in 2026, and the Crenshaw community is still waiting. A grand opening was announced for February 2024. That date passed with not a single artwork installed. Then we were promised that construction would be completed by the end of 2024. That date came and went. Our understanding is that as of last fall, the 8th Council District Office was still scrambling to raise additional monies just to restart the project, which has been paused again and again. But here's what makes my blood boil. City officials had the nerve to tell this community the delays are, quote, a necessary inconvenience, close quote. A necessary inconvenience? First of all, who you talking to? Second, go tell that to the black business owners who have been coping with construction chaos, breathing dust, enduring years of road closures, and the scarcity of available parking, confronting unsanitary conditions, losing customers and revenue, all while the project they were promised still sits unfinished. They wouldn't let a project sit this long in any other part of this city. And for what it's worth, our elected official just happens to be the president of the LA City Council. Meanwhile, the city is laser focused on sprucing things up for the World Cup and the Olympics. Please, if this corridor were in Brentwood or Beverly Hills, it would have been completed on time, on budget, and on the cover of every magazine in town. The Crenshaw community deserves better. They deserve the truth, and they deserve what was promised to them. Now, right now. Not when it's convenient, not when the cameras are rolling for the Olympics. Now, this isn't incompetence, this is a pattern. And at some point, neglect becomes a decision. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, we welcome your feedback.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we do more than just talk.
You got a big mouth. Hello, Joe, you're up. Welcome.
We're unapologetically progressive, and we don't black down.
So many cases, so little time. Attorney Jaaye Person Lynn is with us. So it looks like President Trump's going to have another case coming in front of the Supreme Court, furthering his personal agenda. He sued CNN for defamation because the network was using the phrase "the big lie" in regards to his unsubstantiated claims that the 2020 election was stolen from him. The 11th Circuit Court of Appeals said, no, we're not going to consider the case after an appeals court upheld a district judge's ruling against him. A lot of these were Trump-appointed judges, by the way. They're saying this is opinion. They're not factually false statements, and that Trump hadn't shown that CNN acted with, here's that word again, actual malice. Your thoughts, Attorney Person Lynn?
Hey, I mean, that would start a horrible precedent to allow people to just make a claim, hey, these people lied on me and I don't have any proof. Because, mind you, the number one defense for a defamation lawsuit is the truth. It's like, hey, that's it. It's like, hey, man, you said this, and you got to be able to prove that it was a lie. You can't defame somebody with the truth. That's just not how this works. You have to defame them with a lie, something that is untruth. And so when they say, oh, it's the big lie, and Trump says, oh, you're defaming me for calling me a liar, well, prove it wasn't a lie.
Yeah.
And and there's different levels, right? Because there's those that are just outright lies, like you know them to be false. And then there's those that you actually believe what you say. It's just, not true. But
right. There's
but
the delusionary kind and the intentional kind of lies. Right.
Yeah.
But legally, they're both
And so
lies,
that's-
right? I mean,
Yeah, they're both lies, and so once either way you say something and someone calls you out on it, if they, they cannot defame you by pointing out that your initial statement was untruthful, whether you believed it or not.
yeah, it's bringing to mind the interview with Kristen Belkin and Meet the Press, where the president had a meltdown and walked off. It's the same lie that he's telling about, election interference. This time he's saying in California. And my best analogy is, if someone counts your money slow, does that mean they're cheating you? Is it less likely
Yeah.
if they count your money fast that they're cheating you? Anyway,
Yeah,
I digress. So
and
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I was going to say I do understand the frustration because we're, a week out from the election. It's like, man, why can't these be counted? But as you pointed out, that does not mean that it is actually any kind of fraud going on. It's just the system.
I don't even understand the frustration because Tavis said the same thing. He's on the same page with you, Attorney Person Lynn. But to me, we have more people than any of y'all states. So STFU and sit down. And also, y'all are always complaining about some fraud, so don't get mad if we take time to check and double check the signatures, because y'all are always over here whining about elections being stolen. So even though election fraud is almost non-existent in the United States, so forgive us if we take a minute to check signatures and count every ballot. I don't, it's not, I would love it if I got results the same night, but I don't find it frustrating. We have as many people we have more people than most countries.
Yeah. It's a lot of people a lot of votes that have to be counted. And you're right, because if we didn't do a diligent count and make sure things were correct, then the argument would just be different. They did it too quick. There's no way they... I get that. And, but that's just what it is. Like, if as judges make rulings on cases, if they want a thing to go a certain way, they're going to find a reason for it to go that way. And if you shut them down, they're going to turn and go that same way, just around the corner. And that's just what it is and what they do. And we just have to understand that. But
that's why I was so encouraged by some of the results this last election. Some really cool judges candidates got through this time. Some of them are in runoffs, and so I think it's an indication more different kinds of people are running to be judges, and people are picking up on that. So that's got to be a good thing from your perspective as an attorney who has to be in front of these judges all the time.
Yeah, certainly. I was, the ones who are defense attorneys, most of which I know, I'm happy to get those voices on the bench. I mean, it doesn't change the statutes, it doesn't change the law.
Right.
But it does change or broaden the interpretation of such. In particular, the Fourth Amendment. Those are the issues that we have the biggest problems, because once again, the Fourth Amendment protects us from unreasonable searches and seizures. But if in your mind it's reasonable for a cop to stop and search 4 young black men because they're 4 young black men and that's enough, then that's the problem. And I've seen that. Not that blatant, but just like cops blatantly tell lies about the reasons we disprove the lies, and the judge like, I just have to believe they're completely incredible. And I'm not prepared to do that. Despite we've showed you on their body camera footage that what they initially said was not the case. You still won't believe it. But that's just, what we're up against. So now we have, we'll likely have more people on the bench that understand what cops do because they've seen it. They work from the other side. And I tell you, there's no one like a former prosecutor who now does criminal defense work that is more likely to be like a staunch, like, man, these people are messed up, because they believe they drank the Kool-Aid on the other side. Now they get to the defense side, and they're like, wow, this really is a violation. This whole time I've been supporting illegal government action. But they do. Yeah.
On Friday, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia heard arguments to challenge that ballroom, that $400 million or possibly $1 billion ballroom where the East Wing used to be before they knocked it down. The Trump lawyers are saying the construction has gone too far to be stopped. The lawyers from the National Trust for Historic Preservation say the president doesn't have a free-floating power to build without appropriations. It sounds like this could also go to the Supreme Court. Thoughts?
I mean, I think it likely will. And what President Trump has shown all of us is that he'll do it and ask for forgiveness later. Mm-hmm. That is his philosophy. And in many ways, in a lot of the things I do, I hold that philosophy. Many successful people do. But it's when he does it, it's not necessarily his. It's not going to fall back on him. The responsibility isn't him. It's not his money that's paying for the reconstruction or the construction of the ballroom. It's the taxpayers' money. And that's why there needs to be certain levels of accountability. But Donald Trump has shown us time and time again, you got to stop me. You got to stop me all the way. And then you better hope it's not done to the point, when we go back to the man that was deported, and they're like, oh, you got to bring him back. Well, hey, you said it was wrong, but he's gone now. We don't have any authority over there in Nicaragua or El Salvador or wherever it was that they sent him. And that's just how it is. So that's what, even as we get pushed back, and that's one thing I want to say, even as we get pushed back from the courts or what is perceived to be pushed back, the damage is done. If Donald Trump doesn't accomplish one more thing he sets out to do at this point, the damage is done. It's going to take years to undo what's already been done. And so, eventually he's going to come up against the wall all right, man, you went too far. We can't just keep agreeing with you. But they knew that let me just go as far as I can. And then even once they stop us, the public will feel better, like they got a victory. But it doesn't matter what happens at this point. The damage is done. Donald Trump has done, and some people don't see it as damage. Some people see it as necessary repairs are done, and they're happy.
Yeah.
And that's for them to view. But ultimately, he's done enough, more than any president I've seen in 2 years do. And so on one side, it's you might be upset about it if you disagree with it. But on the other side, it's to have you looking back in history damn, when Obama had a super majority and he didn't do it, why didn't he?
Well, I mean, that has to be a more nuanced conversation because you're presidenting while black. And let us not underestimate that. I mean, first of all, he was the first. Maybe presidenting while black for the second or third won't be quite as heavy of a lift. But let's not act like he had the same privileges and mobility as every other president in American history.
Well, for one, and every other president before President Trump had a level of decorum that they maintained.
That part.
Dick,
what?
But I will say that level, it was the opponents of Obama who desecrated the respect of the president of the United States, standing up and you lie and all that stuff they were doing. If y'all don't respect y'all president, how you going to get anybody else to respect it? And so now, after all of that, then comes Donald Trump. And so I agree it's a more nuanced conversation, but even beyond presidency while black, it's just the office of the president in general had a certain level of decorum that Donald Trump basically said, well, I'm just doing my way.
Yeah, now the office is not just the president himself, the whole office is in the mud, like the East Wing. Attorney Jaaye Person Lynn is my guest, and we'll squeeze in a couple more if we can get it done. I think we can when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
For communities impacted by the war on drugs, cannabis legalization was supposed to create opportunity. but too often people entered the industry without the information they needed to succeed. That's why the Los Angeles County Office of Cannabis Management, in partnership with Life Development University, is presenting the Cannabis Worker Voices Panel on June 13th at 3 p.m. at Life Development University, located at 4241 Crenshaw Boulevard. Hear directly from cannabis workers about their career journeys, day-to-day experiences, challenges, and opportunities. Learn about workforce pathways, transferable skills, and what working in the legal cannabis industry really looks like. Free public education designed to help you make informed decisions before investing your time, money, or energy. Register today at lacountycannabised.org or call 323-747-6728.
Did you know that $60 billion are lost every year to Medicare fraud?
If someone has been a victim of healthcare fraud, the more we talk about that this occurs, older adults will feel more comfortable about sharing their experience.
It's not about someone not being smart enough or not paying enough attention. Falling victim to fraud can happen to anyone.
If I've been scammed, if I've experienced it, and I'm angry about it, and I want to do something about it, then I have an opportunity to volunteer and share with other people, here's what happened to me, but it doesn't have to happen to you.
Medicare fraud hurts people, it hurts Medicare, and we need your help to make a difference.
It's powerful to be able to address an issue like Medicare fraud, and being a volunteer for SMP gives you that power to do it.
If you have passion and dedication and want to be of service, we'd love to have you join our team.
For more information or to volunteer, visit californiasmp.org.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
In a world full of noise, one station keeps it real. KBLA Talk 1580, where the conversation goes deeper, the voices sound like yours, and the issues that matter most to our community take center stage. Progressive, powerful, unapologetically us. Whether you're driving through the city or tuning in from your home or office, join the public square. KBLA Talk 1580, your home for talk that enlightens, encourages, and empowers. Listen live on our free KBLA 1580 app, on our website at KBLA1580.com, or on your radio dial at 1580 AM.
Unapologetically progressive.
It's never too early to start talking about money in realistic ways with your kids. JP Morgan Chase navigates how to educate your kids now about creating long-lasting, healthy money habits. Whether your kids are in elementary school, high school, or college, now is a great time to start a conversation about ways to create healthy money habits as they grow, ultimately benefiting their financial future. Talking about money in a realistic way to support your kids' lifestyle and dreams, your first banking account geared towards high school or college. It's never too early. Explaining the basics, what you earn and what you spend, building financial confidence starts with getting organized. Learning and practicing vital money skills now will stay with them for life. Tools they will have to stay on top of their finances and achieve their goals. This segment is sponsored by JP Morgan Chase.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DePrima on First Things First.
It's continuing with me, you, and attorney Jaaye Person Lynn. Man, I thought we might not have enough to talk about, but we got a little too much to talk about. A federal judge has blocked Trump from charging $100,000 to each employer who wants to hire foreign workers. With those special H-1B visas, which I think is hilarious because he was one of the main people that used those visas. Thoughts?
Hey, man, like I said, I think he's, everyone rises to their own level of incompetence. I'm not saying he's, incompetent. It's just saying he's gotten to a point where he tried it all and now he's finally getting some pushback.
Yeah.
And, it should be like that. selling America, I mean, first of all, I think that is probably one of the most authentically American things he has done. Like, that is true Americanism. Like, hey, you want to come? Well, pay this money. That's just how it goes. I mean, that's how America got their original workforce, right?
Right.
But, in this day and age, I just think it's unacceptable and not something that, only if you can afford this level of worker with this extra 100,000 can you have it. I understand he's trying to build up some revenue, but I just don't think that's the right way to do it. But, just the fact that he's trying stuff, I think that's all those of us or those out there who totally dislike what he's doing. I think you have to look at his willingness to try it and not be and look at that, because there's always something you can learn, even in places that you don't like or from people you dislike. And that is what I think we should learn is like, look, man, he's trying it. He's giving it his all, doing exactly how he wants to do. So maybe that's a new standard. Maybe we get back up there and we do what we feel is right, damn the consequences, because we have to do what's right for ourselves and our people. And, I don't necessarily believe Donald Trump is out there saying, hey, I know this is wrong, but let's do it. He's saying, and he's being advised, like, how can we get this done? Well, here's a way. What are the costs and benefits? Well, here's the cost. Well, the benefits outweigh the cost, so let's do it. Even if it says we can't do it, let's do it, because I believe the benefits outweigh the cost. And that is how decision-making has been made in corporate America, the entire history of America, of corporate America. Like, I think they actually did know the enslavement of Africans were wrong, but the benefit was we're about to create this great, powerful nation. And so, damn the cost, I want the benefit. And that is the American way, and we should not be surprised that is the American way. We have to be honest. It's always been that way. And so many institutions that we may support, depending on where you bank or, where your insurance, what insurance company you go through, this is what they did. Construction companies and all. This is how they did it. The entertainment we watch, this is what they do. And so that is America. So to me, Donald Trump is the most American president, the most authentically American president we've actually had. Some of the presidents kind of made you think America is one thing, but Donald Trump is showing the world exactly who and what the United States of America is.
Yep, it's well said. We've got a minute here. Jaaye Person Lynn, do you have any concerns that the president, especially when it comes to immigration, but other areas too, is simply ignoring the courts?
It's not a concern. It's a fact. Like, this is what he's doing. And, he's like, who gonna stop me? And that is the truth about politics, the golden rule. Who has the gold rule, and really is who has the gun rule. Because who's going to stop Donald Trump from doing whatever he wants to do? That's where the checks and balances were supposed to be. That system got lost and weakened, and then we had Donald Trump. And lastly, I want to say this is the first time I have done your show from the Pacific Ocean. But since, I came out here to Slow County, I said, I'm passing all these beautiful beach cities. Let me stay in one since I got to be up here. And so to be able to get up and walk a block to the beach is kind of nice.
I love that. I love that.
Ain't no
for
black
you.
people.
Well,
Like,
yeah, well,
none.
you're there. Attorney Jaaye Person Lynn, thank you so very much.
Thanks for having me, Dominique. Have a great day.
And you as well. Tavis Smiley's up next. He's got a fully loaded show for you. He's got like 3,022 guests, and they're all amazing. So you don't want to miss that. Tap in with me on social media. I'm at DiPrima Radio, DiPrima Radio, everywhere, including YouTube. Please like, follow, and comment. I'd love to hear from you. We are at KBLA 1580, We the Station, everywhere, including our website where you can register for our free Juneteenth party. Like my dad, the great Amiri Baraka, used to say, a person is either free or they are not free. There can be no apprenticeship for freedom. Till next time, one love.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Apple CEO Tim Cook delivered what's expected to be his final keynote address.
Sharing powerful new tools with all of you and then seeing what you create with them has been a constant reminder that imagination has no limits.
He also revealed a rebranded Siri AI with more conversational features, updates to macOS Golden Gate, and new child safety tools. Chicago leaders are launching a No Crime Weekend initiative to curb violence. Pastors and community members are planning events and outreach for teens set for July 31st through August 2nd after a weekend that saw at least 20 people shot. And a black woman is expected to plead guilty in a voter fraud case in Los Angeles. Prosecutors say Brenda Lee Brown Armstrong paid homeless individuals a few dollars to register to vote. She's set to appear in court and could face up to 5 years in prison. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.